Hi guys, we're going to go ahead and review your Topic 7 practice test. A few reminders. Remember, your test is Wednesday. That is April 29th. You're going to have a 24-hour window to complete this test. It's going to open at midnight. It'll close at 11:59 p.m. You must have your work uploaded in Focus. I did assign a video tutorial on how to do that. It's actually quite a quick, easy process. Just do it from your phone. Works great. If you have issues with that, please email me immediately. If you have technical difficulties during your test, I need to be contacted again immediately so we can try to find some sort of resolution. Your test will have a few graphics in it, and sometimes the graphics take some time to load, so just be patient with it. Let's go ahead and start going over your practice test. Number 1, you are given a right triangle. Now in the graphic, there's the theta there. Here I have an X. Keep in mind, if we are in Microsoft Forms, there is no character for me to use for theta. Theta just means it's an unknown angle measurement. We use variables as well for unknown values, so therefore we can have sine of theta is the same as saying sine of x. That is our unknown. So looking at this right triangle, sine, well, I know the ratio for sine is opposite over hypotenuse. There goes my lead. Okay, so here's angle theta. This is my unknown value. If I go opposite this angle, I'm at 6. And the hypotenuse is the opposite side from the right angle. So here's your right angle. Your hypotenuse is always across from this right angle. So that is 10. On your test, if there's a fraction in this kind of a problem that needs to be reduced, I'm not going to ask you to reduce it. Number 2, if sine of x equals 3/5, cosecant of x equals what? Well, cosecant is the reciprocal to sine. So that means I just need to flip my fraction. Number 3, if sine of x equals 3/5, what does cosine of x equal? Well, again, we know sine of x is opposite over hypotenuse, and cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Well, I know my hypotenuse is 5, but I don't know what the adjacent side is. I'm going to go ahead and use the Pythagorean theorem. Please do not confuse that with Pythagorean identities. Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where your a and b are your opposite and adjacent legs. C is always your hypotenuse. I'm going to go ahead and call adjacent a squared, or excuse me, a. B will be my opposite side, which is 3. And my hypotenuse is 5. Okay, so now let's simplify. A squared plus 9 plus equals, good morning, Ms. S, equals 25. I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides, and I get 16. Remember, to clear a square, we're going to take the square root, and I get a equals 4. So the cosine of x equals 4/5. Let's do another. Tangent of x equals 5/12. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Again, let's go into the Pythagorean theorem. We need to find the hypotenuse. We're going to find all 6 trig ratios. I believe your question is select all of the true answers, and you're given, looks like 5 different ratios, and you had to select which one was true. Here we go. A, we'll call adjacent A, 12 squared plus 5 squared, and I don't know what the hypotenuse is. 12 squared is 144. 5 squared is 25. Equals c squared. Let's add. We get 169. equals c squared. Again, we're going to take the square root of both sides. Square root of 169 is 13. Okay, so this is my hypotenuse. Let's go ahead and fill in our 6 trig ratios. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is 13. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent we were given. Now, these are your reciprocal ratios. So once you have these three, these are really easy. Flip your fraction. 13/5. Secant is the reciprocal to cosine. That is 13/12. And cotangent is going to be 12/5. Number 5, you were given a right triangle and asked to solve for x. Here we go. Here's theta. We know theta equals 30 degrees. Now what else do we have? Across from 30 degrees, opposite of 30 degrees is x. Here's my hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is right across from the right angle. So that means this is my adjacent side. Let me label these. So I know the adjacent is 10. Okay, what trig ratio uses opposite and adjacent? Well, that would be tangent. So that's the trig ratio we are going to use. It is not the trig ratio we would use all the time. You need to identify what values you have. If you had opposite and a hypotenuse, you'd be using sine. But for this one, we have opposite and adjacent. We're going to use tangent. And remember, tangent of theta equals opposite over adjacent. Let's go ahead and do it. I have tangent of 30 degrees equals the opposite. I don't know what it is. It's x. And the adjacent is 10. Okay, I need to solve for x. So what I'm going to do, I got to get this out of the denominator. This is division. We undo division with multiplication. And I am left with 10 tangent of 30 degrees equals x. From here, this is calculator. And let's pull it up real quick. I have 10 tangent of 30 end parenthesis. 5.77, you were asked to round to the nearest tenth. That would be 5.8. Okay, I'm going to end this video here, and I will pick up in part 2. We will do a few more.